All right, another fabulous look at another fabulous Weatherwool product in front of my fabulous garage door. This is a full weight Anorak. I don't know that being an Anorak in particular is unique, but this thing is jam-packed with technical features that make it perhaps the most unique overgarment that I've ever seen or heard of. I know people that like Anoraks are pretty hardcore about their Anoraks, and I'm not a super huge Anorak guy, but the reason I got the Anorak, and I want to say I've had this for 2 or 3 years, and I've worn it quite a bit, but the main reason I got it was I could afford it at the time, and I like pullovers. I like hooded pullovers. So, you know, to me it was just like, oh, you know, a giant super technical wool hoodie, that sounds cool. So, you know, over time I've kind of decided that the weight, it's kind of heavy for a pullover, and that's just a personal thing, right? You know, I'm in and outdoors a lot, and with the full weight and it being a pullover, it's kind of a pain if you're going to take it on and off a lot, because, you know, I wear button-up shirts often. And so if I'm wearing a button-up long sleeve shirt and I'm pulling this thing on and off all the time, I have to get in here and pull up my sleeves and straighten my collar out. And it's you know, it's not the best. A jacket's better for those circumstances. So for my personal use case, this was not the best choice, but in terms of performance, it was the best choice. And we'll talk a lot about performance. I wouldn't expect this to have the same level of performance as the all-around jacket, just because the all-around jacket has an extra layer of wool on the shoulders. But I mean, this thing is phenomenal. The conditions that I can foresee this succeeding in, I mean, I don't know how you beat it. But anyway, we'll start with the wrists. And similar to the all-around jacket, we have slot buttons. It's just, I can't get enough of these slot buttons. It's so cool how they do this. But they just run one single piece of nylon tape, and they have to sew that thing in a straight line. And then they have to create the pockets for the slot buttons, and it's just gnarly. And then on the adjustment for the wrist here, we have some hydrophobic military spec nylon material. And I think it's a nylon wool blend. I could be wrong about that. I believe it is. And I don't know if the newer Anoraks that they're going to be producing, or they are currently producing, are going to be this way. The all-around jacket that I got, I believe that those used to have reinforcements like this, and then instead what they decided to do was reinforce it with just more Weatherwool fabric. So that could be happening on the Anorak. I can't say. I believe this is, well, I probably just shouldn't say what generation it is because I don't know. But it was the latest generation until now. Yeah, and then you have obviously 3 buttons, so you can leave your wrists really wide, you know, getting cold weather gloves underneath it, or you can cinch them up pretty tight, or anything in between. As for me, I have pretty large hands, and on the tightest setting, I can still get my hands in and out pretty easily. But it is tight enough to seal pretty well against gloves and whatnot if your gloves run up your wrists. So that's cool. And then here at the neck, we have more slot buttons up here, kind of nifty. And then I'll button this up a little so I can show you the chest pockets. The chest pockets are pretty cool. The only thing I could say about the chest pockets that's like a criticism is that if you stuff enough stuff in there, it kind of looks like you've got boobs. Well, maybe that's just a me thing because I'm a little overweight. But they have nice big entry, and these pockets are huge. Maybe I'll take this off and flip it inside out so you can see. But the pockets themselves are made out of the same material they use to back the wrist flap. And then this one has a very generous cell phone pocket in it, which is great if you want to put like your car keys in there, or your cell phone, or, you know, small things that you just want to stay in a particular spot. If you do put small things in these big pockets, sometimes they'll kind of travel down here on you, if you can see my finger there. So you'll have to like really get in there, but they're very generously sized, and that makes them handy for, especially during coronavirus. I mean, you can stick your masks or your bandanas in there. You know, if you have a kid like me and you're trying not to carry a pack everywhere, you can stick kid stuff in there, snacks, wipes, you know, baggies, whatever it is. Heck, extra clothes. My kid takes his coat off, and then we have this giant kangaroo pocket down here, and I just stick his coat right in there, you know, and it only just, it serves to make my prodigious gut look even more stately, right? Now that we're on this topic, the kangaroo pocket, super cool. Inside the kangaroo pocket, we have elastic. So if you want to put like tools or magazines for your pistol, or shoot, even just a pistol itself in there, it'll fit in those elastic, you know, and provided it, you know, it's big enough, it will just stay put. Pretty neat. And you can also button this shut on each side like this with a slot button, of course. So you can button the whole thing shut and put stuff in there, and it's probably not coming out. I mean, I've put keys in here loose, just tossed them in and bent and twisted and done all that stuff, and nothing ever falls out. They have sewn in a little gutter here. Might be hard to see from there because it's black, but they sewed in a gutter. So when you throw stuff in the pocket, it does sink down into a little bit of a gutter at the bottom, and that really helps prevent it from falling out. Yeah, and this is a single layer of full weight. You can get this in midweight too. In fact, I think my ideal garment would probably be one of these in midweight. The midweight would be perfect. My only complaint about that is they only do midweight in drab and then in lynx. The lynx, which is the all-around jacket video I did, is a lynx pattern. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's the most beautiful fabric I've ever seen in my life. I love it. But, you know, I kind of have a little bit of a utilitarian style to me, and you know, I guess it kind of makes me look a little military, and I've never been in the service, so I don't really want to. I'm really sensitive to being like a poser. You know, I don't want to be that guy that, you know, dresses like he's, you know, Mr. Navy SEAL and never was in the military. So I'm a little sensitive to that. I have a lot of family members who've been in the service, and, you know, a lot of friends and stuff, and so it's just a personal issue for me. So in any case, I went with black. The black is beautiful. You know, maybe it's not the best choice if you're out in the wilderness, but I think it's just gorgeous. And the black that they use is a true deep black. It's not like kind of blue or kind of gray. Like, it is straight up black. So if you have a lot of dogs, especially with light colored fur, maybe this is not the choice. I mean, it might be showing up on the video, but I have a lot of hair on this because I do have a dog with short fur, and you know, it shows up, and you can brush it off and all that, but it's not a huge deal. But yeah, if you like black, man, this is as true a black as I've ever seen a wool garment. The stitching is fabulous all over it, gorgeous. And then another pocket. So this, I guess I should go over the side zips. This has side zips. Go up pretty high, almost to the armpit. I would say to just below the base of the armpit. So maybe like the top of the rib cage roughly. And that's on each side, right? And you can wear it like kind of like a poncho, really. And that's nice for venting. I mean, you'd actually, if you've never worn anything like this before and you start getting sweaty or hot, this provides a lot more venting than one may suspect. I mean, it vents quite well. And then we have another pocket down here, like your top secret document pocket or something, and it's a huge one. And I put my wallet, cell phone, keys. I mean, shoot, I can fit a whole Smith & Wesson J-frame in here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, you could probably fit like a P365 or a Glock 43 or something in there, you know, if you're trying to be super tactical. Neat, knives, whatever. It's a nice big pouch, and it's also made out of the same nylon material they use for the backing on the wrists and then for the liners of these pockets. Gosh, trying to think. And then the hood, we should not ignore the hood. This hood is cavernous. So what I was just wiggling there was an adjustment on the back of the hood. You can actually pull the hood back. So this is with the hood pulled back. Pretty neat. And it's one-handed release. You just pull it, you're done. Neat. And then you also have the draw cord adjustment on the hood to cinch it down here. Yeah, and this hood is just, they call it a Grim Reaper hood, and it totally is. I actually have a Grim Reaper costume that my mom made for me when I was in high school, and I still wear it to this day for Halloween. And it's like one of those, it's modeled after like a royalty from the medieval times, and has these ridiculous huge sleeves that come out. But the hood is huge on this thing. It's like comically huge. And this one is, in terms of width, like the same. It doesn't go quite as far back, and so I found that interesting. But, you know, it's not a problem because of the genius and the adjustability they've provided you. So you can really tailor that thing to be back or tight or open, and it keeps the heat in. A couple other features on this too, because when you are flappy, right, they put these in again with slot buttons again, right? Like everything's slot buttons on this. So you have this tape, and what you can do with this little piece of tape here is attach it to the other flap in the back. So you can still vent, but it's not flippy flapping all over the place. It kind of stays put. So that's cool. You're still getting your air in, and you're not, you know, like woo, woo, you know, flashing everybody. And so now I'm going to talk about this, and I don't have the Filson behind me, but I'm going to talk about how this is performed for me with comparison to the Filson Double Mac. And the Filson Double Mac is like, has been kind of my main cold weather garment, and this one competes with that for like first place, and that's just because the all-around jacket I have is brand new. It's a week old, you know, at least a week old to me. I mean, I don't know, maybe it was made 3 weeks ago, but it's only been in my possession for a week. And so this thing, so the Mackinac is the Double Mac is double layered through the chest and the shoulders. This is single layered. It's not the most fair comparison, right? This is a retail price of right around $600, and the Mackinac's brand new, or a retail price somewhere from $4 to $5. Again, Weatherwool's pricing is probably going to be going up, and you know, maybe Filson's is too. We'll see what happens with their economy. You know, shoot, let's hope we don't go full Great Depression on this one. But yeah. So as far as wind, this full weight fabric, I've had this exact Anorak out at the Washington and Oregon coast, and I've been exposed to winds at least up to 15 miles an hour, which Weatherwool says that the weave is supposed to stop a 15-mile-an-hour wind. It will absolutely stop a 15-mile-an-hour wind, and maybe even a little more. You know, I don't carry a wind speedometer with me everywhere I go, but you know, it was pretty damn windy, and no problems with wind getting through this. At the time, I was wearing this over a t-shirt. I didn't have multiple layers. I just had a t-shirt on underneath it. And I was not feeling any wind coming through. And then getting ocean spray, stuff like that. You know, water just rolls right off this thing. I don't even recall this getting soaked. You know, the surface may hold a little bit of water, but as far as getting soaked through, it's never happened. I've had this out in the rain, God, I mean, maybe up to an hour and a half, and that's, you know, varying rain, so it's not super hard monsoon the whole time, but it's hard rain, light rain, medium rain, you know, and it just kind of cycles through. It's kind of a common Seattle thing for rain to do that. And, you know, bone dry underneath with just a t-shirt on. You know, probably a wool t-shirt, because I mainly wear wool t-shirts, but yeah, you know, totally good. I've had this out in the snow. We had some pretty good snow a short while ago, and yeah, I mean, I was, you know, sledding down the hill. I fell off the tube and sliding down on my stomach, and, you know, hey, this thing, it looks great. It doesn't even look like anything happened to it. And, you know, you're going over snow, and some of it's hard packed, and sometimes you even hit ice underneath it. And this thing drug across all of it, and it's fine. And we did, you know, that happened to me at least 2 or 3 times while I was sledding. Yeah, and yeah, holds the rain out like nobody's business. It's really good against the wind. As a comparison to the Double Mac, I would say the Double Mac is, I haven't had the Double Mac in as high of winds as I've had this. And the Double Mac does a pretty good job of stopping wind. But the thing is the fabric they use has a lot more openness in it. This is a much tighter weave. So the Double Mac is double layered. And so the wind that it stops may be similar to the wind that this can stop, but the Double Mac, you're carrying a lot more weight on you, man. I mean, you got that whole extra layer, and that extra layer over your arms, you know, I didn't really realize it until I started wearing that thing a lot more recently, and like it wears my shoulders out. If I'm doing a lot of work, like out, up, this kind of movement, you know, sledding, you know, I'm, ooh, you know, whatever I'm doing, even having fun, I was really feeling it in the shoulders. So, you know, that's something to consider. And then as far as rain goes, the Filson the caping works on the Filson. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do, and it keeps the water from getting to you, but that top layer got real heavy, you know, whereas on this one, the weight, it just didn't soak in as much rain as the Filson did. So I didn't get that, you know, that same penalty of weight. I will tell you this though, because the Filson's caped and because it has 2 layers and an air gap between them, I do think that the Double Mac will keep you warmer, at least at the temperatures I've been in, which I would say I've had both of these down to about 28 degrees. That's Fahrenheit. And I would say that if I'm just standing still wearing the same underlayer, I'm a little warmer in the Double Mac, you know, just standing still. But the Double Mac is harder to vent under activity. Now, Filson does make an Anorak. They just came out with it. And if you want to see a review on the Filson Anorak, which is made out of their Mackinaw wool, you can check out Wild for Wool. Just go to the YouTube search box and put in Wild for Wool, and that guy makes some pretty awesome videos on Filson products and other products too. I think he wants to get more Weatherwool products, but right now, like, they're out of stock on basically everything, and everything's back ordered to high heaven because they make like the best stuff. So it might be a while till the guy can get a hold of that. And I really wanted to send him my Anorak to compare to the Filson Anorak, but I'm way bigger than he is. I'm a lot taller and I'm a lot wider, so he would probably look like a total dork wearing this ginormous tent of a Anorak that I have. So I wish I could do that. You know, maybe he wants to try it. I don't know if he wants to try it. You know, I'll send it to him. But anyway, but yeah, so he has the Filson, and the Filson's a little different. I don't want to get too into that, but it only has 1 zip and, you know, and all that. And I'm sure it's a really great garment, but the Filson Anorak is $400, and the Weatherwool Anorak currently, I believe, is $600, and the extra $200 is well worth it. It's well worth it. There's a single layer of Weatherwool full weight will outperform Mackinaw in every circumstance. It's just going to do that. That's my experience. You know, that's temperatures down to the mid-20s, upper 20s. That's rain, that's wind. I don't foresee the performance of the Filson Anorak approaching this. But, you know, I mean, maybe that extra $200 is something you just can't do, and you really want an Anorak, and you want a really good Anorak. Well, second place is probably the Filson. I mean, I know there's like the Leicester River and stuff, and I've never used any of that. So I have no idea what that's like. But, I mean, if somebody gave me the choice between a Filson and anything but Weatherwool, I'd pick the Filson, hands down. Anyway, yeah, if there's anything I missed or didn't mention or didn't show you that you want to see, let me know. I can always do another quick video. Obviously, the production value here is not super high. I don't really care because I'm just doing this to try and help people who are interested in Weatherwool. I really like Weatherwool. I really like their products. I really like Ralph. He's a nice guy. I've chatted a lot with him via email. And, you know, so if there's something you want to see and nobody's showing you, you know, let me know. If I have the product, I'll show you. And it is possible that I might be getting rid of the Anorak because I think my all-around jacket will replace it. But I don't know. I do really like this Anorak. It's a great product. And if you get one, I don't think you'll regret it. I have a hard time believing that. And with Weatherwool's guarantee, you know, and their field test and whatnot, You're really not taking much of a risk if you try it. So yeah, anyway, there it is.